you for joining us on the Asian Le Mans Series 2021 season in review. I'm Nadia Nash. Now, with so much uncertainty and challenges, the series soldiered on to bring you yet another great season of multi-class endurance racing. Some adjustments were made to the racing calendar, and for the first time, it will be held entirely in the UAE in just over a week. There's a lot to look forward to, so here's Zara and Graham telling you more about it.
Hello and welcome to the new season, the 2021 Asian Le Mans Series. I'm Zara Druitt and I'm here at the Dubai Autodrome with Graham Goodwin. Now, I know there's been some change in this year's new schedule, but Graham, could you shed some light on what this new format entails?
It was an extraordinary year last year for so many reasons, but it's going to be an extraordinary new season of the Asian Le Mans Series like none we've seen before. 2 races this weekend in Dubai, 2 races next weekend in Abu Dhabi. By the end of next weekend, we'll know not only who the championship winners are, but the names of the teams that will be going to the 2021 Le Mans 24 Hours.
I wanted to ask, what's the difference between the qualifying that's going to happen on Friday and the races on the weekend?
There's a change here at Dubai, just 1 set of qualifying sessions to determine the grid for both of the races. 15 minutes to determine the grids for 2 4-hour races here in Dubai.
Wow, well, I'm really excited and looking forward to it all. Be sure to follow us on our social media platforms.
Kicking off this season at the desert-based Dubai Autodrome, let's get behind the wheels of an LMP2 for a lap around this 5.39-kilometer circuit.
Hi, I'm Oliver Gavin here at the Dubai Autodrome, and we're about to go on board in the number 28 car with Sean Galil. Okay, coming out onto the pit straight here in the Dubai Autodrome, over the start-finish line, coming up into 6th gear, pit lane exit on the right-hand side, coming into turn 1, heavy brake zone downhill here, trying to make your way across the track, clipping that curb on the right, and then you're using some of the curb here also on the left, all the way over that, back uphill again. These are fast sweepers, again over to the right hand side of the track, just trying to set up for this next series of corners coming down into 5 and 6, using a lot of curb. This is the lowest point on the track right here. You've got to cut back, getting all the way back over this curb on the apex, mindful of your exit, can be tricky there, and then coming through, and this is coming up to the banked corner, the most banked corner on the racetrack, making sure you've got to hit your apex late, and then using the road all the way out over the exit curb, up the longest straight on the track here, all the way up through the gears, going heavily uphill here. Now we're now trying to pick our brake point for turn 10, and heavy on the brakes here into making sure that we're getting across to that apex curb again, using all the road on the exit, but then it's a fast sweeper to the left, all the way over that curb as well if you can, using all the road, and then another very heavy brake zone up here at the top of the hill. Trying not to use too much of the curb there, and out and over that exit curb, and we're coming up through the gears again, making sure we're keeping the energy in the car, really working the track here. It's quite a tricky brake zone here, a little bit of a kink, and then you're hard into this brake zone. You want to get a late apex out of here because there's a fast couple of sweepers after this. You've got to make sure that you really work this speed into the next right-hander. Then pit lane entry on the right-hand side, you're over the crest here, and then onto the brakes, final corner coming up, over this curb on the apex, trying to keep it nice and tight, and then let the car run out, all the speed out onto the main pit straight here. I hope you enjoyed the lap. Stick with us for all the action this weekend at the Dubai Autodrome.
It was a 36-car grid with LMP2s, LMP3s and a record-breaking 19 GT cars competing. On top of that impressive lineup, qualifying started off with a different format for the Dubai races.
Qualifying at the Dubai Autodrome at the start of the 2021 Asia Le Mans Series saw the cars out in a single qualifying session per class for the 2 races this weekend. 19 GT3 cars, a record grid in that class, and a record grid overall at 36 cars. The 93 pre-cut Hairbeth car and the 99, the sister car in the thick of the action, would set pole position for the 99 car for Saturday's race, 93 for Sunday. LMP3 with 10 cars out on track, and immediately the CD Sport car of Adam Atiki, young French driver, was in the thick of things for the Spanish team, making their debut in Asia. 33 car up at the sharp end, until that United Autosports came into play. Duncan Tappy to the top of the times before Wayne Boyd, the reigning European Le Mans Series champion, put his stamp on proceedings, setting pole for both races in a display of speed and consistency. P2 and 7 cars out on track. Sean Galale in the Jota Sport car, the 28. Nicky Team, the reigning WEC GTE Pro Drivers Champion, having his first run in LMP2 this weekend. He'd be third quickest. But the 2 G-Drive racing cars took control of the session. Chinese driver Yifei Ye in the 26, but young 17-year-old Argentinian Franco Colapinto in the 25. The young man would be on pole position for both Saturday and Sunday's races in his first ever run in a sports car. Fantastic result for G-Drive Racing and for Algarve Pro.
With qualifying in the bag, the drivers were set for race day. So here it is for the first time in the UAE, the 4 hours of Dubai.
Welcome to the United Arab Emirates and the first ever visit of the Asia Le Mans Series to Dubai and the start of an extraordinary 2021 season.
Okay, 5.39 kilometres here at the Dubai Autodrome, 16 turns. Turn 1 is tricky downhill, a little bit bumpy, got to be using a lot of curb at 1 and 2. But then it comes over a crest and then down into the sequence of 6 and 7. 7 is the lowest part of the racetrack. But then as you come through and into 9, that's the bank corner onto the back straight. Long back straight all the way up the hill. As you can then coming into 10. Critical braking point into 10. Bumpy, tricky, but an important part for action, I believe. And through 11, 12, another great overtaking opportunity. Then one of the trickiest corners on the track, turn 14, that's a double apex, and you've really got to be on your game there to make sure you get good runoff, and then into 16, downhill braking before that final turn, and out over that exit curve. That could be an area where you get pinged for the dreaded track limits. But it's going to be a challenging racetrack, challenging conditions. You know, the temperature is rising all the time, so I feel we're in for a great race.
36 cars lining up for race 1 in Dubai, with the G-Drive RS pair locking out the front row. Topping LMP3 is the 23 United Autosports Ligier. That's the first of 10 LMP3 cars in this extraordinary grid. Beyond that, we get into the GT grid, and it's the pre-cut Herberth Porsche heading a Porsche 1-2 with a GPX racing car. These two of another record, 19 GT cars for this 2021 season in the Asian Le Mans Series.
John Faub in the number 25 G-Drive Racing entry led the field away to start the 2021 season, but was immediately passed by Jota's Sean Galale, who started in 4th. But a slight wiggle from the Indonesian saw him veer off the track, and Simon Trummer in the Phoenix car took the lead. In the GT class, it was Frenchman Julien Andelauer from GPX Racing who held the early lead, having leapt up to 10th overall in the opening laps from starting 19th. With less than 20 minutes gone, the leading trio of LMP2 cars came through to lap some of the backmarkers. Moments later, the front two of Trummer and Galale came together while negotiating traffic. Both spun, which allowed Rene Binder to go past them into the lead. Each managed to get back on track, but Galale would later be assessed a penalty, and damage to Trummer's car forced him into the pits. With close to an hour gone, the number 11 Euro International Ligier, which had been running in the top 3 overall, took a spin on the track. Meanwhile, in the LMP3 category, a pair of United Autosports cars were dominating the field, with Rory Penttinen car building a substantial lead. There was more drama as the prototypes mixed it up with their GT rivals. But on this occasion, one of the Nielsen Racing LMP3 entries was overtaken by both the Kessel Racing Ferrari and the D-Station Racing Aston Martin, with the yellow Ferrari having to take evasive action. Arjun Maini, who comes from a well-known racing family in India, got the Racing Team India car back underway for his stint, despite getting into trouble for speeding in pit lane. Race leader Binder brought the G-Drive racing car in after his phenomenal first stint, handing over to Chinese teammate Yifei Ye. Axel Jeffries was behind the wheel of the locally based GPX racing team, still leading the GT category and lying in 10th place overall. 3 cars were battling for 3rd position in the LMP3 category, as race leader Yifei Ye passed them all in his black and red LMP2 car. Jim Maguire in the United Autosports car was leading from Bashar Madini in the RLR M Sport entry, and Tony Wells from Nielsen Racing as they battled for the final spot in LMP3. Moments later, Wells passed Madini for 4th spot in the category to move up into 12th position overall. Later on the same lap, Wells went one better, passing Maguire to lead the trio, which had just become a quartet as Adam Itakai in the CD Sport car joined them and immediately started a challenge, despite a big lockup on the track here and some damage to the car sustained earlier. And it wouldn't take long before the Frenchman passed all of them to go into 11th place overall. Despite earlier trouble in the pits, Miro Konopka was still out for a long stint in the ARC Bratislava Ginetta, but the car was looking less than happy on track. The two LMP3 AM cars were battling here, with Neil Muston in the Euro International entry holding position ahead of Kyle Tilley in the Era Motorsport car. A full course yellow was called after DKR Engineering had trouble at turn 13, spelling the end of the Luxembourg team. Meanwhile, Manuel Maldonado for United Autosports was leading the LMP3 category, lying 8th overall. And Axel Jeffries still had his GPX Racing entry at the top of the GT class, and in 13th place overall. 90 seconds behind Maldonado in the LMP3 category was an almighty battle for second place, with Colin Noble, Malte Jacobsen, Leo Weiss and Adam Itakai all in the mix. There was contact in the GT class, with Francesco Castellacci here in the AF Corse Ferrari temporarily turned around. Colin Noble and Malte Jacobsen were fighting for second place in the LMP3 class, with a Scot just over a second ahead. Moments later, the young Dane had caught him and made a cracking move in traffic to go past his rival. Bashar Madini took a spin in the final hour, conceding second position in the LMP3 category to Duncan Tappy in the United Autosports car. With 26 minutes remaining, the race-leading number 26 car came in for its final pit stop, with Austrian Ferdinand Habsburg set to take the G-Drive Racing team through to the finish, with Jota and Phoenix Racing in pursuit. Meanwhile, United Autosports' Wayne Boyd, the reigning champion in the European Le Mans Series in LMP3, was leading the LMP3 category ahead of Colin Noble and Duncan Tappy. The GT category came right down to the wire, with Alfred Renau from Precote Herbeth Motorsport reeling in Alain Furte in the GPX Racing Porsche, which had led from the start. But a spin from Furte at turn 6, just minutes before the finish, saw his podium hopes dashed. Moments later, Habsburg came through to take the checkered flag and give the G-Drive Racing team the win in the season's opening race, ahead of Jota and Phoenix Racing.
A fault-free run for the 26 hours from G-Drive Racing would earn them the win as others stumbled in the class. United Autosports 23 had a similarly clean run to the lead and the win in the LMP3 class, and Precote Herbeth took full advantage of that last-minute stumble, their 99 car ahead of the GPX Racing car, which would drop to 4th after a post-race penalty. Beyond that, there were battles galore further down the field as we got to the conclusion of the first round of what's going to be a concise, quick-fire Asian Le Mans series. Another debutante in endurance racing. I am utterly delighted to say congratulations, Yifei Ye.
Thanks a lot. First of all, I have to thank the team for doing the fantastic job, for preparing the car perfectly, so we have them in the best condition possible. Yeah, for me it was quite a challenge because I haven't driven the car until Tuesday, so it was the first experience for me this week. So without doing any testing pre-season, I'm pretty happy with my qualifying result. First of all, yesterday, and then today we had a flawless race from my teammates Rene and Ferdinand, so very happy about that. And a bit unlucky for our sister car. We could have finished maybe 1-2, but sometimes you don't always have the best luck in racing. But happy with that. First sports car race for me and first win. So looking forward to the race tomorrow.
Fantastic stuff. Yifei Ye, the whole G-Drive Racing team, congratulations on a faultless run that just kept everybody else at bay. And we get to do it again tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you very much.
With full COVID protocols in place, there was no chance for podium celebrations in Dubai, but the Asian Le Mans Series made sure that every trophy winner got the spoils for the race.
Before we jump into race 2, you probably know that the Asian Le Mans Series have a dedicated class for LMP2M and GTM. So let's find out the distinction between a pro and an AM driver.
Hello and welcome to the 2021 Asian Le Mans Series. I'm Zara with our new commentator, Oliver Gavin. Now, Ollie, tell us more about the drivers. What's the difference between AM and Pro?
Okay, so here we have the Hub Auto in the GT class of the Asian Le Mans Series, and we have Raffaele Marciello is the Pro driver, and Liam is the, say, unpro driver. But I'm not saying that he has less passion for the sport, because he really does. You know, he's won many races against his peers in GT racing around the world. So he has a huge amount of experience. But Marciello's job this weekend is to not only make himself fast, but to make Liam fast.
Well, I've definitely learned something new. For more information, live and free around the world, be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms.
With the track still hot from the race just one day before, we're setting up for race 2 of the Asian Le Mans Series. So hold tight for some racing action in Dubai.
Pole position in the LMP2 class and for overall to the number 25 car again with Franco Colapinto. LMP3's pole position this time to United Autosports number 23 car, again, well, the winning car yesterday. And that was a pretty tight qualifying session in the middle order of the 10-car LMP3 team. And then it was the number 93 car, a car that didn't really feature at the sharp end of the race yesterday. That's the second of the Prickett Herpeth cars. This is the Carrera backed car with Clarence Backler putting in that time.
I think they had a problem right at the start of the race yesterday that was really took them out of the running. But yeah, I think another thing for today, to the start of the race again, it's going to be some 25 of the cars are going to be started by bronze category drivers, and so that run into turn 1, it could be a little bit fraught. We might see a few cars fanning out. We've got some guys, maybe the gold or the silver drivers who've got a little bit more experience, a little bit more speed under their belts, might be looking to go on attack early to see if they can establish some advantage and really press home their advantage over that first stint.
At the start of race 2 in Dubai, G-Drive Racing shared the front row of the grid, with John Falb leading the field away with Rene Binder alongside. The stablemates made it to turn 1 unscathed, successfully holding off the challenge of Jota's Sean Galayle, who started in third. Further behind, there was a big lock-up for Dwight Merriman in the Blue Era Motorsport entry, but still the American held on to 6th position. There was a crowded GT category further back, with minor contact in the field, as GPX Racing's Axel Jeffries and Garage 59's Max Martin setting the early pace in the category, ahead of Stefan Gorig in the Prickett Herpeth Motorsport Porsche. Gorig was coming under immense pressure from AF Corsa's Giancarlo Fisichella, but managed to hold off the veteran of 229 F1 starts, although Fisichella would later find a way through. Meanwhile, back at the front, the first 5 cars were all together, with a gap of no more than a second between the LMP2 cars, with Arjun Maini in 5th position keeping the pressure on those in front. In the GT class, there was contact from Al Harfi in the Oman Racing Aston Martin on Renault's Prickett Herpeth car that won the season opener the previous day, with Al Harfi receiving a drive-through penalty. Meanwhile, an incident between the Formula Racing Ferrari and the Walkenhorst Motorsport BMW prompted a full-course yellow to collect the stranded BMW, with the number 60 given a drive-through penalty for causing the incident. Behind the leading quintet of LMP2 cars was the LMP3 entry of RLR M Sport, with 17-year-old Dane Malte Jacobsen having catapulted himself up to 6th position overall. Max Martin had taken the lead in the GT category after his rival Jeffries had pitted under the earlier full-course yellow. Martin was running in 16th place overall. Drama on track involving 4 cars, including current race leader Sean Galayle in the Jota car, who had moved to the front in the first round of pit stops. Another full-course yellow resulted when Phoenix Racing in the hands of Jan-Erik Sluten was stranded on track, and the German team's day came to an abrupt halt. Shortly after the restart, Arjun Maini had pulled his Racing Team India car up into 2nd place and had his eyes on race leader Rene Binder as he attempted to close the gap. The Indian driver kept his foot to the floor and continued to close on Binder at the front of the field, drawing to within a couple of seconds. The pair would later swap places during their respective pit stops. Dwight Merriam in the Era Motorsport team had retaken the lead in the LMP2 AM category after a forced pit stop for the Euro International entry, but Merriam himself was having problems on track, as evidenced by this spin. In the battle for the LMP3 lead, it was the DKR engineering team marginally ahead of the RLR M Sport entry, with Bashar Medini behind the wheel after Jacobson's excellent first stint. In GT, Axel Jeffries for GPX Racing had retaken the lead, with a Zimbabwean ahead of Garage 59's and Rinaldi Racing's David Perrell. As the race passed the midway point, the G-Drive racing car was still in the lead, with Ferdinand Habsburg at the wheel and the team very much in the box seat. Behind him, Naveen Rayo in the Racing Team India car had slipped back to 4th position, allowing Andrade in the G-Drive racing car and Kaiser in the Phoenix racing car to occupy the podium positions. Alain Furte was now in control of the GPX racing car as the team led the GT category. Behind him, Kirchhofer in the Garage 59 car moved past Rinaldi Racing into 2nd place in the category, as the Aston Martin and the Ferrari tried to hunt down the Porsche. LMP3 leader Jean Glorieux came into the pits with an hour and 8 minutes on the clock, but the team would still need to make another stop for fuel before the end of the race. In the event, a final lap issue saw DKR Engineering drop out of the podium positions, falling from 2nd to 4th. That allowed Venezuelan driver Menaldo in the United Autosports car to go into the category lead, with the team looking to claim back-to-back wins in Dubai as the race entered the final hour. Nicky Thim in the Phoenix racing car was holding on to 3rd position overall, with his sights set on chasing down the talented young Argentinian driver Franco Colapinto, who was now behind the wheel of the G-Drive racing car and was setting some blistering times. The pair was still more than a minute behind race leader Yifei Ye in the G-Drive racing entry, but the team had been hit with a 30-second penalty that would cut into their lead. Thim had an opportunity to reel in Colapinto as the two of them negotiated traffic late in the race, but a minor stall during his final pit stop would cost the Danish driver, while Julian Andelauer brought redemption and victory for the GPX racing team in the GT category after a late race spin the previous day. Yifei Ye would come through to take the race by 3/4 of a minute from Colapinto in 2nd and Thim in 3rd. Faye here lapping Wayne Boyd, who would claim the LMP3 victory for United Autosports.
There's the overall order. 45 seconds, the gap between the two G-Drive racing cars. 26 running, frankly, an almost identical strategy and identical results that we had yesterday, albeit the 25 untroubled was rather closer. But great stuff in the 26 car. 25 running very quickly indeed, with the two new drivers joining the established gentleman driver John Falb at the start of that race, and the Nicky team trying to chase down Franco Colapinto, I think giving up that chase at the end. Racing Team India coming back a lap down in 4th. Then the dramas we had on that last lap. United Autosports with a 1-2 for the 23 and the 2. So it's a 23 repeating the win from yesterday, so 2 repeat winners. The 2 rather than the 3 this time, coming home in 2nd for United Autosports. The number 3 car 3rd, I think, yesterday. GPX Racing converts on what they coulda, shoulda, woulda done yesterday without Alain Furte's stumble right at the end. Great result from Rinaldi Racing's 55 car.
Yeah, they'll be thrilled with that.
And they absolutely will. Then the Garage 59, number 88, Aston Martin with the first podium for that mark this year. It's the lead car in the GT AM, and that comes down in 15th position in GT. That is the Rinaldi Racing 66. So it's a repeat win for the 66 in the GT AM category. They're in 28th overall. Overall winner, we spoke to Yifei Ye yesterday. Delighted to see René Binder here as the representative of the trio today. René, another faultless run from the 26 car. Tell us a little bit about the way that race went.
Yeah, pretty similar to yesterday, I have to say. I had a really good start and good first laps. And yeah, as soon as I got past John in the 25 car, I had really good pace and push to get a small gap. Then there were several full course yellows where the gap got a little bit small again and a bit unlucky with traffic, but overall everything went pretty smooth after that. No mistakes in pit stops. We got a small drive-through penalty because I think we overtook a car a bit outside. I didn't see that, but still we had a kind of gap to the 25 car, and I'm happy we brought it home again.
Fabulous job by everybody. We'll say congratulations and say goodbye for now, but well done to the 26 crew. Double win here in Dubai, and less than a week to wait until we can see whether or not they can transfer that form to Yas Marina Circuit in Abu Dhabi, just 90 minutes down the road. With COVID-19 controls in place, no podiums in Dubai, but the happy faces on the happy racers show that everybody enjoyed getting the trophies.
We're already at the midway point of the season, which was held at Yas Marina Circuit in Abu Dhabi. With all the battles ahead of us, let's get a closer look at the machines that will be taking on the racetrack, the Le Mans prototypes.
Zara Druitt here with Graham Goodwin at the Yas Marina Circuit. Just looking at these magnificent machines, Graham, tell me, what's the difference between the LMP2 and the LMP3s?
Well, first up, LMP3, the entry level into international prototype racing. These are the new second generation cars appearing for the first time in the Asia Le Mans Series this year, with something like 450 horsepower for its Nissan V8 engine. Then we move over to this beast. This is an LMP2 car powered by around 600 horsepower Gibson V8 engine. The grip from the tyres, the aerodynamics provided by this fantastic bodywork, wings front and rear. You're looking for the difference between these two cars? That's fast. This is faster.
Awesome, fantastic. Thanks so much, Graham. I can't wait to see them on track. And for more cool information like this, be sure to check us out on our social media platforms.
Did those cars get you excited? Well, you should be. And if you're wondering what Abu Dhabi has to offer, let's take a hot lap around the Yas Marina Circuit.
Hello, it's Ife from G-Drive Racing. We are here in Abu Dhabi. I'm going to talk you through one lap in LMP2 class. So turn 1 and 2 into turn 2 and 3. If you get everything right, it can be flat out. Now we're going to sector 2, coming with turn 5. Off-banking braking, easy to lock up the brake. Going to the slowest part of the track, tight hairpin, downshift to first gear. A bit blind spot for these prototype cars to see the apex, and then all the way flat out at the exit, coming to the fastest part of the track, reaching almost at 300 kph. Downshift from 6th all the way to first gear. Bit bumpy braking. Make sure to kiss the apex and stay left side of the track to prepare for the turn 9. Exit slightly trouble with traction, but coming to sector 3, approaching a GT, always tricky to overtake them just before the braking. Downshift from 6th to first gear. Quite challenging here, chicane ahead, right, left, use a bit curb but not too much, slight wheel spin. Turn 14, be careful on exit throttle application. Now we're into the hotel section, quite challenging braking with a lot of lateral load on the car. Downshift to first gear, exit mid-track, quite challenging double left-hander with a lot of wheel spin. Exit running close to the guardrail on the right side, coming to second last corner of the track. Exit running close to the banana, and then now we are at the last corner of the track. Slight oversteer on exit, but we just managed it well, and then that's the lap around Yas Marina Circuit.
Welcome to the Asia Le Mans Series here at Yas Marina, Abu Dhabi. I'm Oliver Gavin, and today we're going to take a look at the safety car, this Camaro ZL1. This Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 is a 6.2 litre V8 supercharged engine with 650 horsepower. It's a fine machine to have out there to be our safety car in the Asia Le Mans Series. It's so important to have a car like this Camaro ZL1 as the safety car, because when the cars are brought under that neutralising period, they still need to be kept at a speed so that it keeps all their tyres up to temperature, the engine up to temperature, and all the brakes. So when Eduardo releases the cars back to racing, they're ready to go back to green. And there you have it. That's the role of the safety car here in the Asia Le Mans Series in Yas Marina, Abu Dhabi.
So we had 2 successful races in Dubai, and now everyone has to pack and just move down the road to Abu Dhabi, where the 2 remaining races will be held. So here it is, some action from the track at Yas Marina Circuit.
Week 2 for the Asia Le Mans Series, race 3, first of 2 at the spectacular Yas Marina Circuit in the capital of the United Arab Emirates in Abu Dhabi.
Well, here we are. 21 turns here at the Yas Marina Circuit, and at 5.54 kilometres through turn 1, turn 2, fast sweepers, then down into 4 and 5. You can get pinged for track limits there, and then out of 7 and down the long back straight here. You'll be reaching the top speed VMAX of about nearly 300 kilometers an hour in a P2 car. Important 8 and then 9, very important to get traction off of there, and then down another long run into turn 11. Then it gets tricky, and then it gets technical here through 12, 13, lots of off camber exits, and then through to the trickiest braking point on the track, 17, and then underneath that iconic bridge there by the hotel through 19 into 21, final corner on the track to complete one more lap of the Yas Marina Circuit.
Another pole position for the Aris 25 car from G-Drive Racing, topping the order in the first race at Abu Dhabi. Another pole 2 in LMP3 from United Autosport's 23 Ligier of a 10 car class. And in the GT class, it would be a first pole position for the Hub Auto Racing car, their brand new Mercedes AMG GT3, with a real turnaround in the order in the class.
For the first time this series, René Binder was not starting from the front row of the grid. But in great style, the G-Drive racing car went down the inside from 3rd position to grab the lead from Matthias Kaiser in the Phoenix racing car. Meanwhile, pole sitter John Falb's G-Drive racing entry had a poor start, losing 3 places and slotting in behind Navin Rayo in the Racing Team India car. Things got even worse for Falb, as Tom Blomqvist in the number 28 Jota car, who had started in 6th position, passed Falb to move into 4th. Blomqvist then went past Rayo up the inside to take 3rd place overall. Great work from the team after a big shunt in pre-race test sessions required a full rebuild for the car. Meanwhile, John Logie stalled his United Autosports car on the starting grid, which brought out the safety car as the car was cleared from the track. Moments later, the safety car was out again after another United Autosports LMP3 car was stranded off the track. This time it was Rory Penttinen in the championship-leading number 23 car, with his race done after just 4 laps. In the GT category, the Garage 59 cars were out in front with Max Martin leading Marvin Kirchhofer, with Oman Racing's Johnny Adam making it an Aston Martin 1-2-3 at the front. Meanwhile, Blomqvist had moved past Kaiser for 2nd place and was reeling in race leader Binder. A classic midfield battle was developing in the GT field, with Com Letigar in the yellow Kessel Racing by Car Guy pursuing the number 66 green Rinaldi racing car. Letigar was desperate to find a way through as the 2 Ferraris went side by side, but contact between the 2 saw Lauk spin out before safely rejoining the track. Turn 11, number 63 in the wall, reverses and rejoins. Malte Jacobsen's RLR M Sports car had been the class of the LMP3 field so far, carving out a 45-second lead in the first 45 minutes of the race and running 7th overall. Sean Gelael in the Jota car was out ahead of René Binder after the first round of pit stops, but Binder was determined to retake the race lead. He had several goes at the Indonesian, but eventually went around the outside to go into the lead. Behind them, Franco Colapinto in the G-Drive racing car had an optimistic lunge up the inside of Matthias Kaiser in the Phoenix racing car in a bid to take 3rd place. He didn't quite manage it at the first try, but moments later snuck past Liechtensteiner. Meanwhile, Max Martin Garage 59 Aston Martin continued to lead the GT category, ahead of Johnny Adam one place further back, shortly before they handed over to their respective teammates. The two leaders, Binder and Galale, were neck and neck at the front, seen here attempting to lap Darius Merriman in the Era Motorsports car, while Franco Colapinto in third had cut his 30-second deficit to Galale and was closing fast. Galale became the new race leader as he stayed out while Binder came in for a pit stop, but Binder's replacement fellow Austrian Ferdinand Habsburg was up to speed quickly, setting the fastest lap of the race so far. In LMP3, Bashar Medini's RLR M Sport car was doing a fine job defending the lead built up by teammate Malte Jacobsen. But a later incident with a Walkenhorst Motorsport car saw the team receive a stop-and-go penalty, which dropped them out of the podium positions. Evening was falling as the race passed the midway point, and Yuki Nomoto in the Garage 59 Aston Martin was the new leader in GT, having taken over the top spot from the sister Garage 59 car. Nomoto in 8th overall. Further down the field, the Walkenhorst Motorsport had a spin and sustained damage to its rear bumper. And while Jörg Brewer was able to steer the car back into the pits, the car spent a lengthy time in the garage. The yellow flags came out at turn 1 after the 4th place Team India racing car had some trouble and spun. Arjun Maini was able to get the car going again with the car appearing unscathed. Ahmad Al-Hathi for Oman Racing was the new leader in GT, a little over 25 seconds ahead of Hub Auto Racing's Marcos Gomes, with Rinaldi Racing's Rino Mastronardi in third. But unfortunately for him was forced to retire after completing 80 laps. Arjun Maini and Kelvin van der Linde were in an almighty battle for 4th here, with the South African not quite able to make this move stick. Moments later though, van der Linde was able to take the position, passing his Indian rival up the inside. There was some debris on the track after a clash in the GT category between the leading number 97 car, who had contact with a Kessel Racing Ferrari, sending the Oman Racing car out of the race. A full course yellow inside the last hour allowed some teams to try to take advantage by altering their pit stop strategies, but bad luck for the DKR Engineering Duquesne, which had been running second in LMP3, slipped out of the podium positions. Drama for Yifei Ye in the G-Drive racing car, who went off the track at turn 8 while running second. This mishap took the championship-leading car some time to get back up to full speed, giving the leading number 28 car a 2-minute lead at the front. Meanwhile, in the GT category, it was Julian Andelauer, who had taken over for GPX Racing and would hold on for the win, with the Precote Herbeth Motorsport car close behind. Colin Noble for Nielsen Racing was leading in LMP3, just fractionally ahead of the sister number 8 car, which had Matt Bell behind the wheel, and the pair would go on to deliver a 1-2 finish for the team. And despite a little wiggle on the final turn, it was Sean Galale who took the checkered flag for an impressive bounce-back performance, capping a tough week for the Jota team.
Here's the results. Jota Orica number 28 finishes on top of G-Drive Racing, putting a lap on the 26 car at the end. The 25 car finishes third for a double Aris podium, despite that last-minute spin from Franco Colapinto. LMP3 and that last dash battle between the Nielsen Racing cars, we think maybe better team orders there, and finishing third in the order was the surviving United Autosports car. GT, it was a Porsche 1-2 GPX Racing taking the win, just ahead of the Precote Herbeth Motorsport car. Formula Racing profiting from the, misdemeanors of Rafi Marciello in the Bordeaux Corsa car. They take third position and the final podium finish. In the 2 AM classes, the only starter in the LMP2 AM, Era Motorsport, finished 6th. Andreas Las Caratas bringing that car home, and it's a third consecutive win in GT AM for the 66 Rinaldi racing car. Patrick Kajala it was that brought the car home. Congratulations, that was one hell of a drive.
I think first of all the win has to go through the guys who did an amazing job repairing the car. I think, obviously it's unfortunate what happened yesterday. It's really unfortunate what happened yesterday. I think Tom, he did a great job, but it's just unlucky with the car bottoming out. And then, again, man, the guys did an amazing job to turn the car over this morning and use qualifying as like a shakedown session even. And the car was quick. Maybe not for one lap as the G-Drive guys, but for sure in race pace, we knew we were able to fight with them. And yeah, I think today was a bit tiring, but I think in the end of the day, we'll take a win like this with a good margin than anything else.
Good stuff. You certainly did. Sean Galil, thank you very much for that. After a very different race in Abu Dhabi from the Dubai races before, there's some new faces getting their trophies in Yas Marina.
Looking at the winners of that round, it's clear that Abu Dhabi is ready to shake things up, but one thing remains unchanged. 3 classes of cars will share one track, and the GT cars are ready to play.
Zara Jurett here with Graham Goodwin back at the Yas Marina circuit, where we are standing before this beautiful Ferrari. So this year, the 2021 Asian Le Mans Series will see a record GT field of 19 cars set to fight for championship honor. So Graham, can you just give us a rundown on the different types?
Better still, that 19-car field includes not only 7 of these beautiful Ferraris, but 5 other makes too. About 500 horsepower from these GT cars, a little more weight, a little less aero than the LMP cars. That means we should see some massive battles, not only between the GTs, but at times between the GTs and the LMP3s. The racing here this weekend is going to be awesome.
Thanks so much, Graham. We're really excited and we can't wait for the races to start. So for more information like this, just follow us on our social media.
All 3 races have led us to this point, the final showdown. But before we jump into that racing action, let's hear what the CEO of the series has to say.
I feel quite happy, actually. It's been an interesting and very special journey, as you know, for the last 11 months for the stakeholders, the teams, the partners and the Asian Le Mans team. And I have to say that a few minutes before the start of the 4th race of this very special Asian Le Mans season, it's important now to address a deep thank you to all the teams on behalf of the Asian Le Mans and the ACO, all these teams and stakeholders that have kept following us for the last 11 months and managed to join us in the Middle East. We have delivered a platform, and I'm very happy for the Asian Le Mans and for the ACO that we managed to keep the championship alive. It is obviously special circumstances. This grid is very highly competitive. We are missing, of course, lots of Asian teams and drivers that couldn't make the trip because of course, the travel restrictions and quarantine in Asian countries. But this grid actually doesn't really reflect the reality and the potential of the Asian Le Mans series, because otherwise, without this quarantine in Asia, we would have probably had 10 additional GT cars coming from Japan, China, Malaysia or Taiwan, which is for us, now that we are close to end this 2021 season, something which is very encouraging for the 2022 season. So a big thank you again for everyone involved. And now I think it's about time to let's go racing for the last time this season.
Race 4 and the finale. It's another pole position for G-Drive Racing, this time the 26 hours though. Pole position in LMP3 for young Malte Jakobsen in the number 15 RLRM Sport car, and a second pole position in GT for the Hub Auto AMG. A massively exciting race in prospect with the times close up and down the order.
Rene Binder and John Faub and the G-Drive Racing cars maintained their front row advantage into turn 1. Race 3 winner Sean Galil again had to start back in 6th place on steward's orders, despite his Jota car having the 3rd quickest qualifying time. But that didn't deter the Indonesian, who moved through the field quickly, passing Racing Team India's Naveen Rao and Era Motorsports' Dwight Merriman to move into 4th place. There was nearly an accident on the first lap as Nick Adcock's CD sports car was tagged from behind by the number 8 Nielsen racing car. However, the veteran British driver managed to maintain control. The top 5 cars were soon pulling clear of the field in the early running, with Rene Binder leading from John Faub, Matthias Kaiser, Sean Galil and Naveen Rao. Take a close look at the number 40 GPX Racing Porsche, with a left-hand wing mirror hanging on by a thread after earlier contact. That left Axel Jeffries with no choice but to come into the pits to repair the damage. The safety car came out for a little under 10 minutes after an off for Johnny Lawrison in the Formula Racing car after an incident with Giorgio Roda in the GTM Kessel Racing Ferrari. With 20 minutes into the 4 hours, the race for the lead in LMP2 was as hot as ever, with drivers Rene Binder, John Faub, Matthias Kaiser and Sean Gelael all battling it out for track position, with some great driving action seen here from on board Gelael's number 28 car. For the second race in succession, there was a second safety car appearance in the first half hour of the race, this time after a large accident between the AF Corsa Ferrari pair of number 54 and number 51 at turn 11, which took some time to clear up. In LMP3, Maxwell Hanratty in the RLR M Sport Ligier was under pressure from Jean Glorieux in the DKR Engineering Duquesne, with Malte Jacobsen's earlier advantage for the number 15 car negated by these two safety car delays. That allowed Glorieux to close right up and take the position here, moving into 6th overall, having started the race way down in 29th. After the first round of pit stops, Sean Gelael in the Jota car came out in front of 17-year-old Argentinian Franco Colapinto in the number 25 G-Drive car, and the two were locked in a classic battle at the front. Just moments before another full-course yellow, Colapinto managed to pass Gelael for the lead, but both pitted during the stoppage, with the Jota team re-emerging in front, having opted not to change tyres on this occasion. Gelael was then caught up with Michael Benham in the Garage 59 car, with both spinning round. That allowed Rui Pinto, who had taken over from Colapinto, to go through into the lead. Ollie Milroy in the Inception Racing McLaren was leading the GT category, with a lead of 15 seconds over Ahmad Al-Hathi in the number 97 Oman Racing TF Aston Martin. With the headlights now switched on as night fell, Rui Pinto de Andrade in the number 25 car was attempting to maintain his lead over Tom Blomqvist in the number 28 car. Once the race shook out from safety cars and incidents, the three United Autosports entries had control of the LMP3 class, dramatically improving from the previous day when two of them were out of the race within 4 laps. The number 3 had been leading the LMP3 category earlier in the race before Rob Weldon in the sister number 2 took over at the front. The top 2 overall were neck and neck as they continued to negotiate traffic, with Rui Pinto de Andrade for the G-Drive Racing team having now been caught by Tom Blomqvist in the number 28 Jota car. Moments later, Blomqvist had got his nose in front and was doing his best to repeat his winning performance from the previous day, with Rui Pinto de Andrade behind him soon to be called in for a drive-through penalty. But Blomqvist needed the number 25 to finish outside the top 6 for Jota to have a chance at the title. Behind them, Kelvin van der Linde had the number 5 Phoenix racing car in 3rd position overall and hunting down a 3rd podium position of the season. The LMP3 category was becoming clearer with the number 15 having retired with a broken exhaust, while Lorenz Hoare had the number 63 DK Engineering car back in the lead. But in fact, the championship battle was between 5 other cars, 3 from United Autosports and 2 from Nielsen Racing, with the United Autosports car holding the advantage with under an hour to go. With the final round of pit stops, van der Linde in the bright green number 5 car was now in the lead, but Colapinto in the number 25 car had all but caught him and was looking for a way through. Robert Renauer in the 99 Procote Herbeth Motorsport Porsche was leading GT with under half an hour to go, with the team needing a top 2 finish to ensure the title. Minutes later, it was Kessel Racing by Car Guy Ferrari leading the category, and it would retain the lead after its final pit stop thanks to the searing pace of Mikkel Jensen. Wayne Boyd was continuing his charge in the number 23 United Autosports LMP3 entry, and he would go on to take the win and the title. The top 2 were battling right down to the wire and held off Franco Colapinto to take a 2nd consecutive win for the Jota team.
Jota Sport brought it home for a 2nd consecutive win at Yas Marina after a stunning race in LMP2. In LMP3, an amazing 1-2-3 for the United Autosports Ligiers ahead of CD Sports and DKR Engineering's Duquesne. GT was an absolute thriller, won at the end by the 57 Kessel Racing by Car Guy Ferrari, ahead of the number 7 Inception Racing McLaren, and the 55 Rinaldi Ferrari, rounding up the podium in the final race of the series that could have seen any of the 6 makes of GT car take overall honours in Abu Dhabi. Time for a very quick word with race winner, double race winner here in Abu Dhabi with Jota.
Could you say that again, sir?
Sean Galale. Sean,
Could you say that again? I couldn't hear. Double race winner.
That was a fantastic race and a great race to the line at the end. You hurt it as badly today as you were yesterday, or does that feel a bit sweeter?
Yeah, no, we split the stints now, so I started and finished, so it's a lot better. Still did 3 hours, but it's a lot better. Man, we had just had a bit of a slow left front puncture actually towards the end of the run, so we had to do a longer pit stop. Made us a bit more tricky. With car 20 for 25, Colapinto was rapid all weekend and was a bit of pressure, but we held through.
After a quick-fire 4-race season in just 10 days, finally the winning drivers in Yas Marina get to celebrate their race wins with the trophies on the podium at Yas Marina Circuit. The LMP2 Championship and the invitation to the Le Mans 24 Hours going for a second year in succession to the 26 G-Drive racing car, the Auris 01. Jota would take second place with their Orica with the second Auris, third in the championship runnings, Phoenix's Orica fourth, and the Racing Team India team in their Orica fifth. The number 18 Era Motorsport car would take LMP2 and championship honours. The LMP3 title would go to United Autosports, yet another invitation to Le Mans for the team from Yorkshire. Top 5 dominated by United and by Nielsen Racing. They, between them, 5 cars scored all the available podiums for the 2021 season. In GT, it would be the 99 Precoat Herbert Motorsport Porsche squad that would take the title ahead of the GT3R Porsche from GPX Racing, the Rinaldi Racing Ferrari and the Inception Racing with Optimum McLaren. Those 4 teams all will receive an automatic invitation to the 2021 Le Mans 24 Hours.
We had 4 races on 2 tracks in 1 country. And what was impossible in the beginning was now made a reality. Hats off to our organizers, partners, the drivers and their teams, and surely to all of you for supporting us through it all. Thank you so much for making this season such a special one that we will cherish for a long time. The Asian Le Mans series will come back stronger and we want you to be a part of it. Till then, goodbye.